I'm Racers Marshall Pruett. It is Sunday morning at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We have the 107th running of the Indy 500 to complete. Who do we have as our guest? Spotter to the stars, Christopher Wheeler, a fine product of Long Beach Memorial Hospital, is it? Or something along those lines. Spotter to Takuma Sato. Also, coincidentally, the co-host of our Racing Family show on Twitter Spaces. This guy is going to be up high in the sky trying to lead Takuma to victory today. I figured who better to have to talk about some of the nuances of what we might see in the race today, Chris. There's going to be a lot of amazing things happening. Let's start with the first one, which was just a few moments ago. We got to see our guy, Steph Wilson, go against repeated requests to not show up here and risk infection or anything else. Say no, I need to show up and see my crew. Steph Wilson rolling in here, just discharged from the hospital yesterday. Tell me about seeing our guy.
Man, it's great to see Stefan back. Obviously, nobody wanted to see what happened the other day on Monday's practice. But I know the emotions of what it is to come back. I was here in 2017 with Sebastian Bourdais, and the amount of hoops we had to jump through to get him here on race day. But also what that did to fuel his team, also what it did to fuel his recovery. Yeah. So great to see Steph back. Obviously, he's smiling. Yeah. His personality doesn't go away, and so definitely looking forward to seeing his recovery be completed down the road here, and then having him back in race car in the future.
So we have some other amazing things going on here, and I say amazing in terms of positivity and progress. So I was just mentioning that I was aware of 3 women going over the wall for the first time, so making history there. Caitlin from Penske, Gracie from Arrow McLaren, and then Jessica, who's an OG of going over the wall at Andretti. And you're like, no, we're not making history with three women. 4 women going over the wall for the first time at the Indy 500. Tell us a little more.
So we have Brianna Watson at Hucos going over the wall also. Great family. I used to race go-karts against her dad.
Wow.
Her and her sister went to the same high school as me, so it's really cool. She actually left her career in the medical field at the hospital.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure took a pay cut.
I heard
to
she
be
was
full-time.
Kind of interning, like would work a full shift till midnight or whatever it was, and then go work at Huncos.
Crazy. And so they got the call earlier this year to, hey, we want you here full-time, and she said, I'm in.
This is a beautiful, beautiful thing. What else comes to mind, Mr. Wheeler, about things we should be looking for from the spotter stand?
One of the things I'm actually worried about right now, and it's hard to see with our shot here, but we have a lot of cloud cover today. Whether or not the sun's going to pop out is a whole other thing. Identifying the cars from where I'm at in turn 1 all the way in turn 4, almost a mile away, or right at a mile away, it's really hard to identify. And when the cloud cover rolls in, it actually makes it harder. Everything gets more of a darker tint to it. Everything blends in with the track more. So today's going to be a lot about identification and communicating with their turn 3 spotter. If Monday was any indication of what to expect, then Friday just made it even more obvious that it's going to be a bit chaotic. I think the key today is surviving tire stints, staying out of trouble. It's some of the common things we hear a lot, but I feel like what you're going to see is somewhat more of like what a Texas race normally is, where you've got some tire fall off, some guys trying to hold on for an overcut, and you got guys dumpster diving early to get those tires and try and do an undercut, and that speed differential could be a difference maker, which then kind of puts you in a trouble zone to see if now you're going to be potentially in the danger zone of that yellow, trying to do that overcut, and now you've hung yourself out. So throughout the month, everything's gotten a lot tighter in terms of spacing in turn 1. Throughout the practice all last week, it was fine. There was no close calls. Monday, obviously, we had an incident. Friday, it was tight. Yeah. And everybody started to run a little bit closer and a little bit closer. So hopefully they can just keep their heads on them and we can get through this thing.
Tell folks what to look for on the broadcast, because one of the great things that Chris does up in the spotter stand, whether it's turn 1, turn 3, wherever, he's always looking at lines. Who is taking what kind of line at what stage of their stint tells a lot whether they're dealing oversteer, understeer, if some of them are just not hitting the right line. You're decrypting a lot of things, not only about your driver, he's also meant to be a little bit of a spy to tell them what he's seeing with others, but you're able to tell how a person's doing, regardless of lap time, you get an inkling really quickly as to who's doing well, who might be in trouble coming up in their stint. Tell folks what to look for during the broadcast.
Yeah, a lot of it is, if you get a chance to watch an onboard camera, it's a lot of the in-car adjustments. The cool thing about here at Indianapolis is the tire stint is so long that you'll see a car change its characteristics 2-3 times during one run. You can have a guy start with a little bit of understeer, get on his tools, the tire wear starts to hit. Now the tool's having too free, so he's got to numb it back off, then he loses the fronts by the end of it. So I'm always watching for the cars ahead of us that are struggling, seeing where they're struggling, you know, letting Takuma know, hey, car ahead's really got a lot of understeer center off. That's more for Takuma to know, A, we can set him up and get a run down the back straightaway, or just more importantly, don't try and set it on the outside. That's really going to be it. It's also looking at those cars that are coming from behind. Who's fast and what are they doing differently? Where are they running consistently? What can I tell Takuma to kind of help him put his car in a position to kind of not block, but you know, keep the people behind us? Because the big thing here is you get a car that's on a run and they got a lot of momentum. Once you take that momentum away once, it's not like any other oval. You can't just get it back in 2 corners.
Yeah.
It takes about 4 or 5 laps. So, real quick, while I have you though, I need you to take off your hat. For those at home that don't know.
Before I do, tell them why.
This guy's from the Bay Area. I'm from Southern California. Unfortunately, the worst decision he's ever made in his career was being a San Francisco Giants fan, because we all know the Dodgers are far superior. So to fulfill a bet, you get a new hat. And I'm super excited to see Marshall Pruett wearing an LA Dodgers hat. This is gold, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like a dog that got its ass shaved and is wearing that cone around its head.
Oh, Marshall. Oh, Marshall. So I got to ask, what's your favorite part of the event this morning before we get to the green flag?
Not putting on this dumbass hat, which I had to buy myself, which was part of losing the bet. It's a knockoff for sure. I don't know where it's made. Not in America. Not by the Dodgers or LA or Major League Baseball. I found the one with the smallest logo possible, just to minimize this tragedy on my head. So, but yeah, I gotta pay an effing debt to.
Hey, I'm just proud. This is a proud moment for me.
Yeah.
So, biggest pre-race, most favorite part of the pre-race for you?
How's this? I'll roll in what I've been watching all week and what you've been seeing. The amount of people here is ridiculous. So I know I've mentioned this already a couple times in videos this week, but Chris, whether it's been Fast Friday, qualifying weekend, Arb Day, IndyCar is continuing to rise, continuing to get back to a place when you and I were kids, we were accustomed to never being able to walk. Yeah. And we're not 100% back there yet, but man, we're on the way. So
there's enough people here that we actually bumped up our walkover time for the spotter stand by 30 minutes this morning as from what we've done the last 15 years. Just out of being worried about the true amount of people, because we're going opposite stream, right? They're all coming in from turn 1. We're walking against it. So we actually bumped up our time as a group just to make sure that we were good.
Give some love, obviously, to our friends at Cusick Motorsports and Ryan Reinbold Racing, Graham Rahal, just behind us here. He's going to be trying to do big things to represent them. So there's an automatic underdog for the day, just right down the row. Another one of our favorite families, the Abels. They're doing big things. Just signed a bunch of sponsors here, which is great for them. It's the kind of thing you want to have happen, right? Do well, get in the show the first time, and then have folks say, we want to go along for that ride with you. So R.C. Enerson, we're rooting for him. Obviously, we're rooting for everybody, but you know I'm a softie for the underdogs and the cool stories coming along. You guys look like monsters, so I'll be very surprised if I'm not interviewing one of your drivers at the end of the race, smelling a lot like milk, but just the vibe. We love the Indy 500. That's never been in question. We bring our own passion. We haven't always seen over the last 10, 20, however many years, the exact same response to what we were used to back in the day.
It's here. It's electric today. Really looking forward to today. The crowds have been amazing, like you said. The atmosphere is awesome. Honestly, the biggest disappointment is that DJ Diesel's not here. But I won't be able to get there anyway, so I guess I'll have to go see Shaq somewhere else. But no, you're right, Marshall. It's great. The weather's perfect. Like, I am super excited about the temperatures. I'm excited to have a pullover on right now on race day.
We're not baking.
And then, yeah, you know, we need to go 200 laps, 500 miles. Everybody be safe, have fun, keep their heads about them, and hopefully the outright fastest car here is going to win the 107th Indianapolis 500.
He wants it to be him. All right, that's my guy, Chris Wheeler. We will speak to you here in a couple of hours. Look at that. This guy is all about Team Sato, going for number 3. I love it. We'll speak to you here in a few hours. And here's Don Cusick.
Hey, Don, you're live. You're live on the with the world.
Everybody.
Live in it.
Yeah, I just stepped right in. Good.
Tell me about seeing your guy walk in this morning to the place where he belongs.
You know, it's pretty emotional, actually, but it's great. It's great. He's loving it. It's good for him to see the fans. Morning. You know, it's race day. He needs to be here.
He ignored doctor's orders and my orders, but clearly we know none of us were going to stop that guy.
No. He wanted to be here. So, yeah, it's great. I mean, it's good for his spirits. It's good for all of us. Sorry, I'm just...
You're going to be... We're bringing the Kleenex. We're bringing the tissues, brother. It's that kind of day, but thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys a lot. Sorry to jump in there. I just actually hide from over
This
there.
is your parade. We're just afloat.
And we need to say hello to someone that we love like you wouldn't believe. Julia Wilson, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Hi, young lady.
Hello.
I told you not to come here, Wilson, but you did. And I got to admit, you have been full of smiles. I know you're also in pain, but your entire crew lit up. I don't think many of them knew you were going to be here, right?
They did not.
Fans as well, so happy to see. Tell me about you and just wanting to see and feel and share.
Well, all the crew guys had been texting me, and they didn't expect me to be out here today. And seeing their faces light up and lifting their spirits right as they're going into a big race, that's what I wanted to do, and it meant a lot to me, you know, just see them and lift their spirits a little bit.
How are you feeling? Tell me pain-wise. Are you in a lot of discomfort? Did they send you home with any good drugs?
They sent me home with great drugs. And the stuff you got from the gas station, that's been helping a lot too. So keep down the DL.
Candy.
But yeah, no, it's pretty painful. You know, I'm gonna sit through the pain, but it's important to be here and see everyone. And a good job, I'm some Yorkshire bloke, and mum raised me right, so keeping my chin up and looking forward to 2024.
Let's close on this. Yesterday in the hospital, your mom's there, your dad's there, their friends, Julia, Justin's wife, one of your nieces is here. The whole Wilson family's come out to support you and give you love. Tell me about that. I gotta believe that's just made this a little bit easier.
For sure. You know, my mom and dad were flying over here anyway. And they were flying over here, and I was in surgery. So I got to come out of surgery, and they were the first people I saw. As well as my wife. My wife's been an absolute trooper. Done so much for me already, and I know that I'm not going to be easy to work with over the next couple of months on the recovery. Trying to do things too fast, and she's very strict with all the rules, so I appreciate her and what she does for me. And I also want to say thank you to all the fans. I can't believe all the support I've received. I didn't expect it, you know. I do this one race a year. When I walk around in the garage area without my suit on, I don't expect anyone to even know who I am, you know. And